I'm taking over the ship. Get out of here. Get out of here. I'll be back. You know I'll be back. Okay, all right. Enough of that stupidity. Oh, okay, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Live Stream of Consciousness. I'll be bringing my guests on. And hopefully, well, let's see. All right, I'm going to start bringing in, let's bring in our first guest. How's everyone doing? Welcome to our April show. So far, we will have our good friend James, aka Earth Paragon, will be coming in. And to follow shortly will be Mark Rivers. So I decided to go with something different as far as the theme song was concerned. Hello? Hello? I can see you, I can't hear you. Not hear you. And I will bring in Mark. Yeah, okay. Hello? Hello? Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Dead air, ladies and gentlemen. All this while a giant hole is in my roof and there's just water coming down. So, are you there, Mark? Hello, Marky? Mark? Alright, I may have screwed up. Hold on, let me check the settings on my end. I may have screwed up big time. Oh, that's right. Okay, so microphones, speakers. Okay, I see what's going on now. Hello? Oh, I can hear people. Who's there?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm sorry, but I forgot to change the settings.
Yeah.
Ah, and there you are, Earth Paragon.
Hello?
Hey, can you hear me? Technical difficulties of the show. You to hear me. Oh
I
my.
cannot hear. No, I can't.
Oh darn. Okay, hold on. Settings again. Go into settings. Changing everything. I can hear everyone. Oh, that's good.
I don't know. Where's the chat?
All right.
Me?
Yeah.
I can't hear you, Raph.
Oh, okay.
I can hear everybody, but all I hear is rain.
So I can hear you, James. How you doing, by the way? My name's Mark.
Hey,
But I can't hear Raph.
I was making sure the camera wasn't on. No one's
Oh.
seeing me, my
Hello?
PJs.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you guys
So
hear
how
me?
you doing? I see your artwork a lot, like online and stuff. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Oh my god. Oh, no one can.
So,
I feel like a ghost.
I guess we're just sort of waiting for Raph to configure his stuff.
Oh darn. Okay. Hold
So
on.
where do you live?
Hello.
Arkansas.
Oh wow.
One of the 4 states that still are
Ladies and
open.
gentlemen, it's the Mark and the Earth Paragon show.
How's everything going over there, man?
I think we have like 4 cases in my area,
Oh,
and
yeah.
now I have like a bunch of young guys that want to self-quarantine themselves. So it's just gonna make work that much more difficult. In my town, you can't close my Walmart. If you do, people are gonna die. There's nowhere to get medicine within like 30 or 40 miles around, so I don't have the option to close my store.
You work there?
Yep, I run the back room.
Okay.
Well, at least you still have a job.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm gonna join the call again to see if anything works this time.
That's
Hello?
too bad.
Hello.
Hello?
Hey, Raph.
Oh, okay.
I can
We
hear
can. You can all. Excellent. So we're all here. Sound off.
This is Mark.
Okay.
Blue Power Ranger.
Right. And I love Brayton's comment. This is the worst one yet. Oh, okay. So we got Juggler, Juggless in the audience. We have Maboose Cast. and Macabre Comics. Hey guys, and Brands and Phil. But no, for a moment there was the Mark and Earth Paragon show, and I was just gonna let you guys talk for like 20 minutes when I realized that would be that'd be a bad idea.
Are we live?
Yeah, we're
No,
live
I guess
right now.
Okay.
Oh yeah, thank goodness you guys weren't talking about your controversial ideas about you know who with the mustache. Tom Selleck. I'm sorry.
No. I just I've been over at a friend's house, man. The person that owned the house before kind of left everything in the attic, so I've been helping her get everything out.
Oh, okay.
Oh Lord, find all kinds of crap up there.
Hey. Well, as you can hear, my roof caved in, so all the water is coming in. So it's going to be the rain show tonight.
I was wondering what all that noise was. I thought it was just part of the music.
Yeah.
Wait, did the room really cave in, or are you just like kidding?
Take your pick.
Wow, for real? It did?
Yeah. No. It's no. If it was caving, I would have canceled this, and I would have been a very sour person right now. Oh my goodness. So no. I've decided I'm just gonna let rain sounds play in the background. So I don't know why. I just thought it would be come out of the rain wrath. You come here, Brayton.
It's okay, we can't hear it.
Okay. Oh, that's okay. The audience can hear it, right, guys? All right, and I'll do my best to answer as many questions as possible. But first off, how are you two wonderful gentlemen doing tonight? Thank you so much for joining me. I would have done Discord and brought in Casey, but Discord's been acting up the last couple hours, so yeah, I'm not.
Never actually used Discord ever. I wouldn't know how to do it.
Yeah. It's an easy service to sign in with. I know you don't really need to download it. So, but at the same time, we got Skype here. It's working, and plus I get to play silly sound effects. So.
Nope, I'm just tired and just guessing whenever my schedule's going to be, because if I don't have a truck show up, they're just like, hey, don't come into work today. Please come in when we have like a 4,000 piece truck. Still can't get any goddamn toilet paper in my store, but I got almost everything else. Ugh.
Right.
Dude, toilet paper is low. Around here, dude.
Are you there?
I was just hearing, all I heard was just in and out, in and out, in and out.
Oh, there you are.
Hey, you guys keep going. I'm gonna connect like a cable. Be right back.
Okay. In the rain. Mark, no! Did that day Mark become the incredible lightning man?
After we get done with this, I'm going to start reading Matthew Denin's new kaiju book, because I got to see what that's like.
Oh, wow. So what is the new book? I didn't read your post on DeviantArt.
Marsh Thing was Matthew Denin's one, and there was a creature in the first Atomic Rex book that was called Marsh Thing, so as I've been told, it's the same one.
Oh, so it's like a sequel starring one of the lesser monsters. That's like giving
No.
Ebra his own movie.
Sequel or prequel, I don't know, because it gets killed in Atomic Rex, so I don't know.
Was it a plant-based monster or just a regular monster? Oh,
it's
then
like a bunch of
it could have reformed.
microbes.
You know how plant monsters are.
And the other book was William. I'm not Mellick. He's a Scottish author. He writes like this S Squad series of books. They're like this Scottish ragtag team of like think of like a Scottish version of the original Suicide Squad. Basically, they go in and they get sent in. And there's usually like supernatural forces or monsters. Like one book was Mongolian death worms. Another one was a secret Nazi base in Antarctica that was fooling around with the occult. So there's like frozen Nazis. It's a fun book series. Not the most in-depth stuff. Not the most in-depth books, but really fun if you want to spend like 5 or 6 hours just one night just plowing through something that's not gonna rack your brain.
Right.
Okay, so I should stop cutting out now.
Oh, that's good. That's good to know. Okay, hold on. I made the mistake of accidentally bringing in more people than I should have. Okay. We'll see what happens. They'll join us when they can. So, okay. What to talk about? Live stream of consciousness. Does anyone... okay, so... I didn't know you worked at a Walmart, James. You probably mentioned in the past, but my old man memory is failing me.
I don't really talk much about myself.
Okay, that's okay. But I guess it's pretty bad in this the time with all the people panic shopping and whatnot.
It was when it first started. I never seen my grocery shelves get wiped out that hard. I mean, that was surreal to watch that.
Mm-hmm.
I can imagine.
And now it's just, I don't know, just tomorrow we start taking temperatures, which is going to be fun. Because
Oh
I can
my
imagine
goodness.
I can imagine a couple people putting their forehead next to the heater in the car or something in order to get out of work for the day.
Right.
Well, I mean, at least they're taking it seriously. You know,
Yeah.
you gotta, like, you know, I know a lot of people are, like, saying that people are overreacting, but, yeah, this is, like, the real deal, you know what I mean? So, you're just looking
And-
like, what, how many people are dead in New York now? I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, man, let's not...
From what I under- from
I'm
what-
glad that they're gonna do that, you know,
Yeah.
but, I actually
kinda-
I actually have one of those masks because there were like fires here last year, so we went and bought a couple of like face masks, and they just happened to be like the N95 ones, to like, you know, so it was just a coincidence that I actually had like the equipment already. So, but it's funny because when I went out today to like go to the post office and some stuff, and like everybody's wearing it. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah.
go masks and gloves, and all of the stores, they have plastic things in front of the clerks and stuff like that. So I'm happy to see that it's like, all right, at least people are like being serious about it, you know.
It's just weird in my neck of the woods because we're just kind of out in the boonies and stuff like that. We're not that close. I
Well,
mean,
the thing is
as soon as I get home, everything I'm
Yep.
wearing goes straight in the wash, and I go take a shower. I mean, it's about as
Right.
clean as you possibly can get.
yeah. See, that's the thing, is that if it hasn't hit there, right, then it's good that people are like taking precautions, because then it won't hit there. You know what I'm saying?
My town's just old people. If it came through here, it'd be like Stephen
Yeah.
King's The Stand.
Oh my.
Oh man,
It would just be horrible.
yeah, that would not be totally. So, yeah, let's talk about something else besides our crippling, horrible, end of the world pandemic.
Well,
Let's talk about some good old fashioned monster movies where people get eaten alive and, like, you know.
Well,
So how about that
stepped on.
D17 showing on that Toei channel now? I saw you were happy about that in Shoma.
Oh, what? Oh, Daitetsujin 17? Yeah.
I'm not even gonna attempt to pronounce the name. I'm just gonna say D17.
Or you can call it by its American name, Brain 17. So, Mark, you might not know this, but Toei, the people behind the Japanese Power Rangers,
Yeah.
they just unleashed, for lack of a better term, their American YouTube channel, and there are like tons of free episodes available from like various shows they've done over the years.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, I'll share the link in the I'll share the link pretty soon in the conversation. But yeah, among them was the first two episodes of Daitetsujin 17, which I grew up with as the American adaptation, Brain 17. And
yeah, I know. Yeah.
yeah,
I
no,
know.
that's such a fun show. I'm just excited that official
Right on.
tokusatsu readily available in America. But from what a friend of mine in Japan, on Kaijunor, has told me, it's not the same streaming, the same free service in YouTube is not available in Japan right now. So I wonder what's that about. I don't know.
So are these like subbed or dubbed or what?
They're subtitled.
Yes.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. The only thing is you have to go
Turn 'em on.
into the settings on the YouTube video to activate the subtitles. It's basically a closed captioning subtitles type deal.
Right.
But
They're
it-
not the Bergen kind.
Yeah, and
Right.
the quality of the episodes they're featuring are not the best in some cases. It's like, what is it? Their copy of Captain Ultra, which is an obscure, unofficial sequel to Ultraman. It looks great, but then you have something like oh my god, like Space Sheriff Gavan or Space Cop Gavan as they call it, and it looks like it's from like a very word down videotape. But at the same time, it's like free tokusatsu for everyone to enjoy, and it's like there's nothing wrong with that. So and hold,
Oh,
yeah, it's like well, some of the titles they have is Space Iron Man Kawaii-Den, about twin robot brothers who turn into vehicles. They got Robot Detective K, Jiraiya, the Super Ninja, Ninja Captor, which was the lost Super Sentai show in some regards. Captain.
Lost?
Yeah, it was supposed to be the sequel to the very first Super Sentai series, Go Ranger, but it got taken out of continuity because so it's kind of it's like the Never Say Never of Super Sentai, if you will. So Never Say
Right.
Never being the one James Bond movie that is officially not
Yeah.
a part of the main series, but you
Right.
got Space Sheriff Jaban. You got like Space Sheriff Gavan. Bic Crosser, Jampiron.
You know, I've never heard of any of these, so
Yeah,
I'm
don't
just
worry.
saying,
Yeah, hold on. Let me bring up the link and share it with everybody. But yeah, this is pretty insane, and hopefully Toei will keep up the free episodes in the coming future.
So, remember in our last stream we were talking about the Power Ranger monster you think you could beat up, and I mentioned the guy made out of ramen, and you listed the series that he was from. Which one was that?
Jetman. Hold on, I'll find a picture of him and try to put him up here.
Is that also from Toei, or is that from?
Yes,
a different
that's
company?
also from everything that's Super Sentai is from Toei Studios.
Oh, okay.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so far though it seems that they're not putting their big oh wait, I actually have footage of the Cup of Noodle monster here. Hold on.
No Kamen Riders, no Power Rangers.
Yeah.
So this is just all this is like the original source material Sentai, right?
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Okay.
Right.
I guess is that how you would? Right. Okay. Cool. No, I'm gonna have to check that out. Now, do they have like the complete series of all of these, or just episodes from?
Just sample episodes, like the first 2 episodes of each series is more or less available.
I'd be
That's
more
kinda
interested
cool
to see
then,
how
huh?
long they keep them up, though.
Yeah, it's might as well grab them now while you can. So
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
yeah,
It's
it's
kind
like
of cool that this stuff is becoming like more mainstream.
mhm.
You know,
Let
I
them
guess
put
it's
Monster
like all
Prince
the-
up there.
If
all the people who are
Power Rangers, they like want the original stuff. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, but with that says, well, it's like not only that, but Shout Factory on their free service Tubi, which is TUBI. They have the complete first series of Kamen Rider available, dubbed, and yeah. So I'm going to share the link to that as well in a little bit. But first, I'm gonna change the screen to introduce the monster in question you wanted to see. So. Okay, he's going to be popping up pretty soon. I think his name is Noodle Jinger or something like that. Hold on, I gotta look up the name. It's like I know these monsters, but some of these monsters I have never seen in person or know anything about.
Make sure you
Noodle
pronounce
Jing-
that last name correct. YouTube might get some ideas.
Yeah, I do.
Noodle Jinger.
Yeah, don't repeat what I just said. Oh, okay. Noodle Jigen, also known as Noodle Dimension. He is an interdimensional, like most of the monsters of Jetman, he's an interdimensional insect that merges with a living object and turns into a monster based on that. And in this case, this was a couple noodles.
That thing's awesome. So when year is this series from? Anyway,
I think hold on.
70s, 80s.
Yeah, Noodle Dimension appears in episode 10 of Jetman, simply titled Cup of Noodles, and it was aired on April 19th, 1991. So this is a 1991 series.
91. Okay.
Yeah. So and don't let the friendly face fool you. If, like most of the dimensional bug monsters or Jigen creatures, I don't know. Apparently, okay, hold on. Let me read his a little story here. Originally a ramen bowl infused with a transdimensional bug, this monster assumes the guise of God Ramen, and to trick Akio's classmate Tatsuta into creating a cheerful Ako-chan ramen using his special noodles. What the hell am I reading? Which would make anyone who eat it aggressively impatient with superhuman strength after hearing Noodle Dimension play his hypnotic flute. Once Tetsuya learns the truth that this creature is not the god of noodles, the monster attempts to kill him when Akko arrives to aid her friend. I think Akko may be the Blue Ranger. Though the monster overpowers her, Tatsuya uses Noodle Dimension's dependence on hot water against him, holding him off until Jetman arrives with an eager Yellow Owl having ate the ramen prior, and Blue Swallow leading the attack. Once Jet Icarus is formed, it destroys the monster. Jet Icarus is a giant robot. Destroys the monsters and breaks his spell. Later, Noodle Dimension was one of the 4 dead dimensional beasts that tormented the souls of Jetman after they were trapped in hell. What the hell? It possesses Jet Icarus during the mecha battle until a priest exorcises it and was then destroyed by Great Icarus, perhaps forever.
That is the coolest thing ever. And it sounds so ridiculous.
Right. Oh my goodness. So, this is, I'm not good at reading text for the first time, but that was just lunacy in its own right. So, okay, hold on. Brandon says so. Brandon Film says, ironically, Toys channel received so many copyright hits from themselves that the account was temporarily terminated at first. I don't know if this is. Yeah, I don't know if this is Brayton just being funny or if this is something that actually happened.
True.
It's true.
It's true.
Okay, poor
Wow.
Toy Studios. So
Really?
Yeah, Toy Studios. Because Toy and a lot of Japanese companies have a habit of being very strict with their copyrights on YouTube. So much so I wouldn't be surprised if a missile hits my house just for showing this image of a dimensional noodle. So
That's really YouTube's fault, to be honest. Because they have nobody knows how YouTube really works, how the algorithm really works, how the
right.
copyright bots really work, because they're bots, right?
Yeah.
Because it's there's too much video for actual human beings to review it all. So they just use algorithms to go out and try to find it. I just got a copyright. So I made a video literally 11 years ago that just got a copyright strike just right now because I used about 45 seconds of a Ministry song in it. Right? So 11 years pass and then suddenly their algorithm finds it. You know what I mean? And I don't know. It's shit like that. Really, it's this big mystery, and you're just better off not using any copyrighted material at all.
Oh god, then I probably screwed my.
It's their.
Yeah.
If it's even flagging their own fucking channel, that really does not surprise me if that was true.
Yeah. And it's so sad too. Now they mention it. Yeah, YouTube and the algorithm and the robots are to blame, but most of the people who have a bone to pick, most of the people in the fandom are blaming Toei themselves. It doesn't make much sense, I guess. But yeah, it is irony of ironies if you think about it. So,
yeah, I mean the thing is, I know that there's some companies that don't care. And you'll never get strikes from, and then sometimes they'll flag you for stuff that doesn't belong to that company. You'll see videos about guys getting flagged for music that they create themselves, and then it's this song belongs to BMI Music Group, and it's bullshit, I fucking wrote this song, but still they get flagged, and there's nobody to talk to. That's the thing, is that you can't call YouTube and get it straightened out. There is no human being to interact with. You know what I mean?
It's all robots. The future is here.
There's no person to email. There's no number to call. There's no contact person. I mean, I know if you're fucking one of these dudes that has 1 million fucking subscribers and shit, then yeah, they'll call you. You'll have someone to talk to. But if you're just a normal person with a channel that a small channel trying to start out, forget it. They don't care about you.
Oh yeah, it really is the belly of the beast. And also, I think since we're on a roll here, it's going to be nothing but dimensional noodles throughout the night. So,
Oh man.
because there's so I just found a treasure trove of Japanese Twitter images of this guy we can use.
So we got some questions here. Favorite 70s Godzilla monster, not counting Hedorah.
Damn it!
That was from Macabre Comics.
Okay, well that's a good
Giraffe.
that's a good question to talk about. Okay, so my favorite monster is Hedorah, but apparently I can't talk to them, so screw it. Yeah. But no. If I had to pick somebody else, well, here's the thing. I know a lot of people like to give the 1970s a lot of BS for being the 1970s as far as Godzilla movies go. But I really like a lot of the monsters that showed up throughout the 70s Godzilla movies. You know, Megalon, Jet Jaguar, King Caesar, Mechagodzilla, they're all great. But I think Gigan would definitely have to be my close second because I just love... First off, he has such a bizarre design, but at the same time, it's so sleek and awesome that you can instantly forgive it once the initial shock is gone. And plus, he does look generally menacing. It's like, I know some people just call him, like, you know, a cybernetic knife turkey. But in reality, like, you know, compare it to something like Gulala and Gigan, you know, it looks like he can cause some damage, and he does cause some damage. He was the first Godzilla opponent to actually make Godzilla bleed on screen. But more to the point, what I think I love most about Gigan is he's such a scoundrel. It's like, I know a lot of people know him as the coward who runs away when a fight goes wrong, but at the same time, it's like a lot of that comical slapstick body language they throw in to the character works beautifully, because it's like you can see Gigan, you know, like in the background in Godzilla vs. Megalon, just bragging to Megalon. It's like, hey, check this out. Guess what I'm going to do? So it really is a great character. And Gigan has such an interesting history outside the 70s movies. He was technically an unlikely hero in the Monster Apocalypse novels that were spun off from the anime trilogy. Apparently he was a regular kaiju that the Earth governments altered into a cyborg, but he ended up being an unlikely hero who went out of his way to defend mankind and died in battle against Godzilla. And then in Godzilla Island, they turned him into like a brooding samurai type who was sort of an anti-hero and worked with Godzilla in a couple episodes. Godzilla Island, of course, is the show with the small Godzilla toys pretending to be actual monsters. But that's yeah, I would definitely pick Gigan. But there's so many cool characters from the 70s. Like, you know, I really can't pick one. But Hedorah would be number one, and Gigan would be the close second. Oh, and all the monsters from the Hanna-Barbera Godzilla series are a lot of fun too. But that's a whole different conversation for another day. And I'll save that for like maybe when Casey comes back to the show. But you guys, while I take care of a little dog here who needs to go out again, you guys go ahead and talk about your favorite 70s Godzilla monsters.
Okay. Jeez. Kind of a hard one to follow up on. Take it away, James.
Pretty simple. I always like Titanosaurus. It's a boring thing, but I like the way he looks. Plus, it's my favorite of the 70s movies. It's it's just kind of a shame that it's a really nice suit, and then it just didn't. I guess it's just like that old adage, like you never really see Gamera ever fight anybody that kind of looks like him. It's always something way different. So the first time they put Godzilla fighting against something that looks kind of like him, in the movie tanks, and they're like, "Oh nope, we're never gonna do this again."
Yeah, they that one was actually really well done. Like the monster in that, Titanosaurus. The suit really, it was kind of like a throwback a little bit. Like it wasn't like, like it seemed like in the 70s, like they started getting a little more fantastical. Like cyborgs and robots and whatever the hell King Caesar is.
Yeah, I can't imagine though the two combining dinosaurs though from the original script. That would have just been. I just can't imagine that. That would have been just really, really weird. How would you explain that? They just did a Wonder Twins power activate thing?
Oh, totally. I mean, it sounded like a good concept, I don't know. For me, I'm trying to think. I mean, I guess, favorite one. It's kind of kind of a tough thing to. I don't know. I like Gizora, but what else? I like. Yeah, I'd have to say Gigan also probably. Um, I don't know. I mean, the thing is, like they're all kind of iconic. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think
So-
Megalon mostly because he was such a really good character in the fighting games. If he wasn't in those, I don't think he would be nearly as big. At least with modern fans.
Yeah,
He was
totally.
definitely one of the better characters in the Pipework games, that's for sure.
Totally, totally. Um, I don't know, man. I think hmm. God, I can't say not Hedora because Hedora would have been probably my favorite one also.
Oh yeah.
I think I like those like the action in the 70s movies is a lot like better. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of like they get kind of silly, so that's like but it's for a different like age group, you know. I think you
Yeah.
see movies today, like you see movies today like Shin Godzilla or whatever, even some of the Millennium series, and they're a lot more adult, even though like some of those movies can get a little campy as well.
Be sad,
But
and you gotta like being sad.
yeah, but they're a lot more like anime. You know what I mean? Like when you like from the Millennium series, it's a lot more like you're watching a live action anime, right? Whereas like the movies in the 70s were like more like just kind of bizarre, tongue in cheek, like you know exactly what this is. Don't you know what I mean? Like you know exactly what a Godzilla movie is. You're not going there for like horror or terror or to see realistic destruction of, you know what I mean? It's not supposed to mean anything. It's just supposed to be Godzilla kicking some other monster's butt.
Well,
Right.
I
And
think
then
the
everybody cheering and monster suits. And I think that's what's kind of cool about them.
I think the main reason why they had to is because, I mean, Japanese oil crisis in '73, you were forced to cut back on a lot of resources. So
Yeah.
you still wanted to make these movies. You had to be more creative with what you wanted to do with them. You couldn't just, have burning cars. Can't waste that.
Yeah. Well, I know, I mean, a lot of those they get criticized for the effects, but if you look at like effects from other monster movies in those times, like they're really not that bad. You know what I mean?
Well, the
Like
'70s.
especially in the '60s, right? Like something like Destroy All Monsters, or Invasion of Astro Monster, or something like that. And like people today, whoa, stuff falls off.
Whoa! Something fell. Earthquake.
Well, like people today watch those and they go, "Oh, it's so cheesy. The monster's fake. He's made out of rubber." Well, like what else came out in 1967? That had like super awesome effects. You know what I
Don't
mean?
watch
Like,
Reptilicus if they want to argue
Yeah.
that.
they're all the movies like back then were like that, and the Godzilla movies are actually kind of a step above other stuff that was being released at that time.
In America, the '70s, that was the advent of like the home video camera, so there was just
Yeah.
a lot of like really, God, freaking the bog, Jesus Christ, the turkey lobster, whatever that thing is, just horrible. I mean,
But,
some of them are fun, but man, there's a lot of bad '70s ones.
Yeah, you're getting shit like Food of the Gods, or that's the one with the giant rabbits, right?
No, Food of the Gods is with when they actually shoot mice. I don't care for that one. The rabbit one, Night of the Lupus, or
Night of
Lepus,
the Lupus,
however
yeah.
you want to pronounce it.
See, like that one, or there's another movie called Empire of the Ants with Joan Crawford in it.
Joan Crawford screaming at the top of her lungs the whole movie.
So you've seen that movie.
What
too?
else is new?
Like that one,
Sorry,
they
it
didn't
was
even
Joan
try
Crawford.
doing the effects. They just did like composite shots of like ants, and it looks horrible.
I mean, it was Mr. Big. I mean, he wasn't making these movies with God. What is his
Bird-Eye
real
Gordon.
name? I just call him Bird Eye Gordon. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was a lot of stuff like that, and it wasn't until like Star Wars came around, where well, first actually Jaws, I'd say, and then Star Wars, where you actually started getting like modern special effects. Like it wasn't until then to where you could actually say, okay, this is something that there's a market difference, right, between like the stuff that you're getting out of Japan and like American movies, you know. So when was that? 76, you know, so like half of the decade.
Mm.
And like before that shit just looked stupid, you know. It looked like some kind of cheesy B movie kind of stuff. Like that's what people expected when they thought monster movie, you know.
Yeah.
It's a dinosaur.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh,
I mean, I'll still watch those movies anytime.
Oh yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying they're bad.
I just went back and went back and rewatched GOG, and I'm just like, oh my god, it's such a cool looking robot, but God for sake, it moves so badly.
I know that movie was briefly on YouTube for free. I think it still is. And I saved the file to it, but I haven't watched it. Is it one of those movies where it takes forever to get to the robot, or is the robot in there pretty okay?
Oh, the first 50 minutes of the movie is just them explaining all the scientific advances and all the freaking, this. Yeah, it takes a long time.
Okay.
That's why you need to get Amazon Prime, because a lot of those movies are on there, and I just rather watch older movies like that. Amazon Prime, I can watch Project Metal Beast. It's a metal werewolf movie.
Oh, nice.
But you go on Netflix, and if it's not a new movie, I don't really care.
Yeah, it sucks too, because Netflix's library is almost nothing but like really terrible, cheap foreign movies that aren't very good to begin with. So it's like there's for every boxer omen, there's like a billion terrible Hong Kong action films. I think doesn't matter. And holy crap, now I have a cat that wants to go out. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, Netflix is kind of like, they don't really have much in the way. Like they have like a lot of like made for Netflix movies that no one's ever heard of and you don't care about.
Yeah, some of them are good though. Like
there was sometimes you find something good.
There's one that I've been waiting for to come on DVD. Oh man, I forgot what it's called, but they're like they're like ghosts or something, and they're not. They're like energy spirits or something. They can like run through people and kill them instantly. Oh Jesus, I forgot what it's called. But it has like huge amount of money put behind it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I can't remember. But other than really well done TV shows, like I love their Lost in Space. I'm sad it's only going to get one more season, but at least it's going to get a more season.
That's a good show. Lost in Space was good. You watched The Witcher yet?
Oh, fantastic! My dad and me went through it, but I will tell you, when we got to that episode 4 or 5, whatever it was, when all of a sudden it's the Queen's alive, my dad and me looked at each other. We're like, "Huh? Did we miss something?"
Yeah.
Well, don't you understand? The Queen was in another castle the whole time.
Yeah. It took us a while to figure out the time jumping around crap.
Right. That kind of threw me for a loop there too. I was like, wait a minute, and then you're like, oh, so this whole plot took place like in the past. You're just like, oh, all right. Like that was kind of cool. It's it's definitely trying to go for that Game of Thrones like audience.
My favorite character was the I don't know, I guess she's a witch technically. God, that actress is freaking beautiful, dude.
Yennefer, that one.
Yeah, my God,
totally.
she is a pretty woman.
Totally.
I did feel weird watching that with my dad when she started stripping down. I was like, oh, okay, this is weird. Go out in the other room, Dad.
Oh, I will, son. I will. That's my. I don't know why your dad is evil. So.
No. Yeah, definitely. That's we're in the middle of watching Witcher, and also there's a couple of animes that I'm in the middle of. Is it okay to pick up on girls in a dungeon or something like that? It's pretty good.
Is that the title, or are you actually asking us the question?
That's the title, actually.
Okay.
It's kind of like it's pretty good. It's like if in Japanese RPG video games, like you can level up and you have stats, and like it takes all of these tropes that you get from like that would be in a game like that, and then gives them like logical explanations as to why. But I mean, it's basically a harem anime, but it actually has like you know a logical sort of like framework behind it to where like stuff like that makes sense. You know. Plus, there's like a ton of fan service in it. It's very, very fan servicey. You know, which means tits.
Right.
If
You,
you
you
guys
don't have to. You don't have to say the T word. You could have said bazongas or happy pillows, or
All right.
milk containers. It's like there's tons of other more classy words to use. Bazongas, bazoomzas. Oh,
Garbanzos. Okay.
yeah. Oh,
Anyways,
yeah,
that was really good.
yeah. Thank goodness there's no feminine influence in this live stream, aka Brayton. That was a terrible joke.
Yeah,
I apologize
good point.
deeply.
I don't know. We've been actually kind of playing Animal Crossing more than watching TV. So if you haven't had a chance to play Animal Crossing, don't, because it'll take over your life. So don't do it. It's like the most addicting thing ever. But anyway, so we got any more questions here?
Okay, hold on. I'm going back to see if there's anything decent. Wow, between no offense, Macabre Comic and Jugless Juggler, you guys type quickly. So
You just read slowly.
Phantasm.
Yeah,
Well,
okay.
First Phantasm.
I love them all. I mean, the last one was you have to be a fan of the series in order to enjoy it. If you're not, there's no point to watch it. But I think the first three anybody could watch, or whatever.
So there's 5 of those movies, right?
Yeah, they just did the other one. It's the last movie that Angus. Oh God,
Angus
Agree.
Scrub, and I think his name
Angus Scrim. Yeah, it's the last movie he ever did, and it kind of closes out the series, kind of not, but
See,
at least it's a sort
he's
of
the tall man, right?
yeah.
The actor that plays him, right?
At least it has some sort of resolution as opposed to let's recycle, let's say some kind of quippy line, and then something grab you from the window or mirror or whatever.
boy.
Yeah, I've only seen the first one. I mean, that one's like a classic. So
It is.
Yeah.
they're on my bucket list. So
It still doesn't make any sense. I still don't understand the blind fortune teller. Like, did she get killed at the end? I don't understand. And then there's just a bunch of weird stuff with that movie. But I mean, that's kind of half the fun with it.
Yeah, well, I know the first film deliberately was trying to kind of ape dream logic. And although it doesn't go to the same extremes as, say, Italian cinema or more artistic horror movies that would follow in Phantasm's suit, I think it kind of works in a sense, especially when you find out that, yeah, it was more or less an unfortunate dream at the end. But then it's weird because then we get into the sequels, and it's like, I know last time we were joking about the continuity of the Italian troll movies. But it's like, compare that to Phantasm, it's like, oh, okay, so I get the alternate dimension stuff, but it's like it wasn't a dream, or it was a vision of the future, or it's destiny playing out but being altered each time. It's like, I don't get it.
They kind of just ditch it. They kind of just ditch the whole dream thing and just make it one straightforward thing.
Okay, yeah, because I know they clarify in that, like, the first movie they keep it ambiguous if it's a dream or not. In the second movie, which is pretty decent.
Straight 80s horror.
Yeah, straight 80s horror, and they make it very clear the tall man and his necro minions, as we'll call them, are very much real. But it's like, yeah, I only seen clips of the third film, and I've not seen the fourth, the fifth, or the 6 or 5 we got.
No, 5.
Okay.
The fourth one kind of goes back into that dreamlike state because the main character, he's got like a big giant gold ball underneath of his head. It really goes back into the, hey, let's screw with the audience a little bit.
Didn't they?
I'm just amazed that director never did like mainstream films. Like he did such a good movie, but he never did go on to something like much bigger.
Yeah, I know.
As opposed to
Yeah.
like the guy who just he did Dust Devil, and he had that unfortunate god-forsaken Island of Dr. Moreau, and then he finally comes back and does something halfway decent with Color Out in Space.
Right, Dan.
That looks awesome. Color Out of
It
Space.
is.
Yes.
It is.
Yeah, it's. I would gladly put some color outer space images, but like I said, we're going to be worshiping the noodle monster tonight. So.
So that was recently in theaters, but now all the theaters are closed. So is that one streaming now, or
Oh,
is
you
it
can
just
buy
on
that
demand?
on. You can buy that on DVD. It
Yeah.
had a
Oh,
very, it had a very
So-
limited theatrical release.
Oh,
Yeah.
quick note about
Okay.
the before we continue talking about the color out of space. Don Cas. I'm gonna butcher this name. Cascarelli. He also he does have one major hit underneath his belt, and that was the Beastmaster from 1982.
I forgot he did that.
Yeah. He also did John Dies at the End. He did a whole bunch of the Phantasm movies. Bubba Hotep, and that's pretty much it. Other
He
movies.
did a Bubba Hotep?
Yes,
Oh,
he did
shit.
Bubba Hotep.
Didn't even know that.
Yeah, but no, he
God, why didn't he do the sequel to that one with the female vampires?
oh, I
God,
didn't.
Bruce Campbell.
Okay,
Jesus.
first off, I didn't know there was a sequel to Bubba Hotep.
No,
Yeah,
they
me
were
too.
supposed to.
Oh, okay.
They were talking about it. It was like female vampires or something, but they just couldn't get their crap together in a line.
Okay, so, but yeah, he also directed the lesser-known movies Jim, the World's Greatest, 1975, which I think is a ski movie. Or no, it's a drama, never mind. Kenny and Company is the comedy drama movie about skateboarders. And Survival Quest in 1989, which is a survival film. Yeah.
I totally blanked on that.
Oh, and he directed one episode of Masters of Horror, Incident on and Off a Mountain Road, which I guess was his take on it.
Yellowmount.
Yeah. So yeah, yeah, not. You're right. I'm honestly surprised he didn't do more. Although, to be fair, he seems to have more quality over quantity. So
He seems to like handpick what he wants,
yeah.
which is okay. It's better than what's his name, who did he did Equilibrium and then fantastic movie, and then he does Ultraviolet and it freaking bombs, and he never
Oh.
does anything ever again.
Wait, that was the same director?
Yeah,
Because Equilibrium is awesome.
yeah, I love Equilibrium.
Yeah,
Ultraviolet was
Violet is like, what the hell
Well-
happened to this? Like,
there's a longer cut that inserts scenes like that explains that they're not vampires, but they have heightened strength and everything.
yeah.
But it's just a lot of producers just with their thumb in the pie, and it kind of sounds like he just kind of lost his taste with doing a big budget movie ever again.
Well, I got good news and bad news in that order. Good news is he did go on to have mainstream success. Bad news is the movie in question was the remakes of Total Recall and Point Break between 2012 and 2015.
Let's
you know,
just
that really
do a
wasn't
movie.
bad.
We don't have
So,
to.
I never saw
Total
the
Recall wasn't bad.
Break one,
Mm.
but Total Recall actually really wasn't that bad. It was just, I think if it would have been, called something else besides Total Recall, it probably would have had a much better, audience response.
Mm-hmm.
Because people were expecting get your ass to Mars. They were expecting that, and they got this
There's
other
freaking three
which was
boobs.
really good sci-fi movie.
Yeah, poor three boob lady. She didn't deserve to be shot in the back like that.
Yeah, I don't know. It really was pretty good. It was just it was not Total Recall, and then I guess it was closer to the actual original story or whatever. But
I thought it was fine. I thought.
yeah,
I mean, I like Kate Beckinsale in anything. She's hot at the time. And I'm not the biggest Colin Farrell fan, but he wasn't a jackass in the film, so and he
Totally.
wasn't boring like you did in Alexander.
and it had some pretty good action. It was not a bad movie. And it's kind of, I think that's one of, like, we are talking about underrated films last time. I think that's one that you could say was a little
It's
underrated.
just an
Mm-hmm.
it's just an unneeded remake. It just didn't
Yeah.
it didn't try to do a whole lot, different and stuff. Like my friend and me, we just watched the Child's Play remake, and
Oh, I didn't even bother.
I no, it did a lot of things different. I thought Mark Hamill was amazing because you see this doll, it's learning, like, these kids are laughing in this horror movie, so this thing thinks if it stabs things, it makes them. It's learning like a child, and it was amazing. I loved it, but yes, I will admit, Brad Dourif, a serial killer doll, much better than AI doll trying to learn things and then going on a psychotic range because his best friend dumped him.
Mm.
I mean, they're still making, Chucky movies, right? So,
They made two direct DVDs, and they really weren't that bad. And one of them had Brad Dourif's daughter, who I swear to God, she looks like Brad Dourif with long hair.
nice. Yeah, see, it's like, I saw this video about the weird rights attached to that movie, and so it's like, they don't have the rights to the title Child's Play, but then the other guys don't have rights to Chucky, so that's why you have these two competing franchise, like part of the same franchise and shit.
They don't have the rights to do, if this movie would have been a success and they would have done the serial killer aspect, they don't have the rights to make sequels based on a serial killer doll, which is why they went with a totally different way. They're like, hey, if we ever make a sequel to this, we could just make a new origin for him, and everything would be kosher.
Right. Yeah,
It's
I don't know.
really, really weird.
Mhm.
Everything
Like,
gets remade. Why can't we remake stuff like The Howling or something like that? Just something, I don't know.
Right.
Remake something that's not like a cult classic. The Howling's great, just not a whole lot of people know about it
Yeah.
anymore.
The Howling, the first one, yeah. They start getting bad. The sequels are pretty horrible.
Start getting bad. They're bad right after the first one. Freaking
think,
Marsupials is
Yeah,
just...
Marsupials. It's like the worst.
Oh God.
You ever seen that one, Raph? Howling 3, the Marsupials?
I think that was my first real Howling movie, and God, that was a wasted Saturday night at 4 a.m. It's,
See,
I think it's
like,
better than
I like in that
Freaks.
movie because it's all supposed to be sexy and everything, and like the girl werewolf is like really hairy, like even in her human form, she's like hairy.
Are you talking about the redhead
So,
who's a
like-
marsupial?
Yeah. So like, there's like this guy, and they're like getting it on, and she has like hair all over her stomach, like
Mhm.
even in her human form.
Let me
And
reach
you're
into
like,
your
okay,
pouch.
God, like, does that mean like her legs are all hairy and shit? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, like, yeah, to just watching it, like, it was, yeah.
Ugh.
Sounds like someone missed her Brazilian appointment.
Oh.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, let me stick.
I was waiting to see how long it would take for you guys to realize I was here. So I
Oh,
decided to be
sorry.
quiet. Wouldn't be
I've
much
just
of a
been-
rogue if I wasn't stealthy.
Right.
Sorry,
I've
we're
just
like
been
being all
staring at the
sexist
noodle
and
monster the
everything.
whole
Sorry
time.
about that.
Yeah. So, okay, so we were talking about those terrible Howling sequels, and we're talking about Howling the Marsupials, which was the third one filmed in Australia. I remember the guy who played the lead commander in Ultraman Towards the Future was in that movie, and of course
Yep.
he's classing it up while the rest of the movie is being there, but it still feels, I don't know. It was such an uneasy mix of comedy and horror, and it just came off more. It's not disturbing; it's just unappealing as a movie. And then, of course, there's the second one,
Yeah.
Howling 2. My Sister is a Werewolf, where it's just, oh
Raph,
god.
there's like 8 of those movies, right?
I know. I've only seen like maybe 2 of them, thankfully. But
Yeah, I've
One of them
only
has
seen
like a werewolf in a circus that's being controlled by a vampire ringmaster. Freaks, I think that one was. It's just horrible.
right,
And then they had the new one they just did that was just basically a Twilight ripoff.
when I'm guessing you are among the few people on Earth who is free from the horrors of.
I have not seen this Howling movie. The only Howling I know of is the really awesome song by Within Temptation.
Watch the first movie. I think the transformation in the first movie is better than the one in American Werewolf in London.
Mhm.
I think it's better. I hands
Yeah.
down, I think it's better.
Yeah, and I know I'm gonna get a lot of guff, but I've never seen the first Howling, unfortunately. So,
Good movie.
yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Hey, Win. So, have you seen Dogma, Kevin Smith movie?
Yes.
So you know that.
Alan Rickman was amazing in it.
So you know that part where the demon guy like gives Silent Bob the golf club, and he's like, "What are you gonna do? Hit me with the golf club?" And he looks at him, and he sort of takes his shirt off, and he says, "Come on, bright boy, don't you know anything?" Right? And then he kills him with the golf club. That scene is from The Howling. So
Oh,
there's part in
Silver.
The Howling where like a guy's turning into a werewolf. And he's like, "What you gonna do? Shoot me? Like, come on, bright boy, don't you know anything?" And of course, like the dude has silver bullets, and so he kills him. So that's like a homage to that movie. So it's a little
Speaking
bit
of Howling,
Gotta love Kevin Smith.
Oh, God. What do you want, little man?
see, it's trying to transform. It's based on a book series that I've been meaning to pick up on my Kindle from Amazon. I need to.
Mm-hmm.
But I will admit that the werewolf in that movie looks so much like the werewolf that's in Waxworks. It has like those big pointy ears that kind of dip down a little bit.
Oh, I think it might be the same effects artists that worked on
I think so.
Waxwork, yeah.
So
Although
Waxworks, there's
yeah.
a scene where like the werewolf like grabs a guy and basically rips him down, like grabs him by the head and just rips him all the way down the middle. It's
Ew.
amazing. Oh, I
Yeah.
love it.
Well, despite the gore, the Waxwork movies are a lot of fun. Because they
The
are
first one is.
like I like the
Second
second
one.
one.
Oh, there's just too much comedy.
Yeah, but at the same time,
The Godzilla reference is just, it kills me every time.
I know. Yeah,
The only thing that goes through my mind is, run! It's Godzilla! Dude,
I mean,
the
basically, it's
fucking
right up.
cuz.
That's basically what their reference is.
yeah, but,
The Godzilla that's in that movie is it's like Godzilla and the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man mixed together. It is a super fat copyright infringement Godzilla.
yeah, but
So wait,
but-
what movie is this?
okay.
Waxworks 2
yeah.
through the portal of time.
Yeah.
I think I've seen
have-
this one.
Oh God, Mark, the Waxwork movies would be up your alley. The first
The
Waxwork.
first one's amazing.
Yeah, let me just give a quick synopsis. The first one has my man David Warner in it, playing an evil Satanist who is using human sacrifices to bring various waxwork dummies to life.
Nice.
And the sequel goes crazy because it turns out that he wasn't like. It's not only was he a Satanist bringing these monsters to life, he was also a servant of the devil himself in like a battle between good and evil. So it's sort of like a Alice in Wonderland type narrative where heroes go into different movie type worlds that are their own alternate dimensions. So they go visit Dr. Frankenstein. They go to a black and white haunted house movie. They go to a medieval fantasy world, sword and sorcery and all this. And it's done on the cheap, but it's done very stylishly. And yeah, there's a lot of comedy to it, but I kind of enjoy some of the more humorous elements of the second one, especially the one where Dr. Frankenstein is berating his monster for not killing our heroes quickly, and the monster realizes Dr. Frankenstein is a dick and just lets the heroes go, almost shy of patting him on the back. But it's like I think they would be right up your alley. It's like they're
Right on.
they're very much in the same realm of Army of Darkness and kind of playing with concepts that Cabin in the Woods would play on with later. But yes, I don't know. I like both Waxwork movies. I have the Blu-ray edition from Vestron Entertainment, and I love it because of the extras in it. So
Well, the best thing about the first one is like he's bringing everything to life, but how he does that is like so you have like this wax diorama, like it's a whole scene of like a werewolf or Dracula or the Marquis de Sade. If you step over the rope, you basically go through a portal and you're in this world. So they build this whole set that you go in there. So you have like the Hot Valley girl, she's in like the vampire thing, she's at a dinner table, they're all eating raw flesh and blood in these cups and stuff, and she's like, "Oh, I like steak tartare," and like the main vampire is like, "Yes, steak tartare, that's what this is." you know. And you
Right.
find, and she goes down into like a basement, and then she sees like her boyfriend is like strapped on a table, and all the meat and everything came from his leg, and it's just amazing, good gory effects and stuff.
Right, right. But it's
Plus, the main actor is Zach Galifianakis from Gremlins, so I mean, or however you pronounce his last name.
yeah, no, they're very fun movies, and if you don't mind like horror with a little bit of comedy and adventure elements, I'd recommend both movies. The first one, I think, in retrospect, is stronger, but I'm a big fan of the second one as well.
Well, I put a link to the Godzilla scene in the chat there. You
Yeah.
can see how, because
Okay.
Raph, I think you forget how bad that puppet looked.
Right. Let me see. No, I know
think
the.
you forget how bad it looks.
No, I know how bad the puppet is, but everything else in the movie is pretty good. So, all right.
Well, the alien knockoff thing looked really amazing.
oh yeah, that scene's actually pretty good. So,
So, what year is this movie from? Like from the 80s?
85 is the first one, I think,
Okay.
and the second one, I'm not too sure.
I
He
don't
looks
know.
like the same age, so it doesn't look like it's that much. Maybe a couple of years later. But
Oh,
it definitely went
oh.
the Beastmaster 2 route.
Oh God.
what, we don't like Beastmaster 2, Lost in L.A., going bananas?
Better than Beast.
Yeah.
No, actually, I
That's
think
the one where they-
Beastmaster 3 is actually better.
So wait, Beastmaster 2 is where they actually go to like the human world, right?
Right,
They
Los
go to, like,
Angeles.
the
Portal of
woods,
Time. Yeah,
and there's like a jive talking witch or whatever.
kinda. The third
And
one
it's
is like the third one's like a really
The other one's like made
super.
for VHS.
It was made for home video, really cheap.
hmm
I think the girl that played Sonya Blade in the second Mortal Kombat movie was in that one.
Right.
But yeah, it's super cheap.
Right.
So okay, I got a question for you guys. All right. So if you could remake something from the past, if you could remake any obscure movie that you like, what would you do? Which movie would you choose?
let's let Win go first, and she's a new arrival. Or-
And what was the question?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
So
and
if you could remake any movie from like any obscure movie, what would you make? What would you remake?
I don't know. There's quite a bit to choose from. There's a lot of really good B movies out there that are already cheesy in their own delightful way. And while there are some that are bad, it's kind of hard to choose which to remake because the ones that were remade ended up being really bad. Do I need to point out to the remake of I Spit on Your Grave?
Ugh.
I can't watch movies like that have that kind of.
I didn't know what
subject
it
matter
was.
to 'em.
I didn't know what it was about until one of my friends rented it because he just rented some random B movies that day, and I
Oh, I
had
bet
to
that was
recommend we watch
one of-
something clean after these two because the two movies were I Spit on Your Grave and Cannibal Apocalypse.
Oh, you poor woman.
I couldn't imagine sitting in the living room watching that with a friend. I'm like, just during the 20-minute
It was
rape
close
scene,
to
you look over, you're
Halloween,
like,
so we thought it was close to Halloween, so we thought some B horror movies would be interesting.
Oh.
oh god. Fast forward, you know, if you ever want to see like a really funny review, that one guy that used to be on Channel Awesome, the one with the big beard and everything.
Which one?
Well,
They all have beards.
yeah, he did a review, and like when it got to those scenes, he reenacted kind of with dolls, but it was like Barbie dolls.
Okay, I'm guessing it was Phalis, the Canadian guy who.
No, it's the one with the really long hair, and he's got the mustache and the long beard.
Oh god, that's not narrowing it down at all.
It'll give me a minute to
Right.
think about it.
So there was this internet reviewer. He's the fat one.
Isn't it like Decker?
Decker Shadow?
Yeah.
No,
I
he
think
was
so.
never on Channel Awesome. I think he was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. What's that dog?
Yeah, it is Decker Shadow, but if you ever
Okay.
watch his, he kind of reenacts it with little dolls, and he's just like, and then this, I can't go any further with this.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Personally, I would have cut to the Relaxovision scenes from Freakazoid.
I'm the network sensor. We've created this wonderful thing called the Relaxovision. Oh, but it's so sad. Only me and Win understand that reference. Yeah, but
A time where censorship was made fun of, but
Yeah.
now it's not so much of a joke anymore.
ugh. I finally won. I'm the network sensor. Anvil falls up. So, but no, getting back to Mark's question, what movie would we remake?
Like I said, I honestly can't choose. There's so many to pick from. It would kind of be neat to see a Gremlins remake if it was handled well.
Mhm.
As
It'd all
long
be
as they-
CGI. Ugh.
Yeah.
Only if they kept with the animatronics and only added subtle hints of CGI, which is why I said if it was handled properly.
Right.
That and keep Gizmo his cute little adorable self.
I'm surprised no one has remade that with all the marketing that you could, toys you could sell with that.
I know they've been trying to get a new Gremlins movie off the ground for ages, but it's been like
They've been trying to get that, Jaws, anything of Steven Spielberg's. They've been trying to get off,
Yeah, and
but it's
apparently,
never gonna happen.
yeah, and apparently you're supposed to be getting an animated spin-off of Gremlins on Netflix sometime later this year. Secret of
that'd
the
be cool.
Mogwai.
See,
Huh.
I could be down with that.
Yeah,
Animated, I could handle.
yeah, but I'm such a huge fan of the second Gremlins movie. It's like you're at the top of Mount Everest. You don't have to go any further. So
True,
no,
the new batch was pretty good.
yeah, yeah. So I was gonna make the joke. No, Bat Gremlin, don't fly too high to the sun. No. Oh my goodness.
And one of my favorite T-shirts as a kid was of Gizmo driving the car.
Okay, so who wants to go next as far as remaking movies? Earth Paragon?
Trying to think of something where like effects nowadays could really benefit the film, because there's a lot of stuff like I don't know, the Boogans or stuff like that where they had a good idea, but they just didn't have enough money put behind it in order to, like, I love the way the Boogans look. They're
Right.
tentacle turtles. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
How else can you describe them? You know?
Right. If I can find a good
Cthulhu and a half shell.
Yeah.
Lovecraft Power.
I don't know. I you know, it might be unkosher, but I would like to see like a big budget remake of Tremors. Honest to God, I really would, because you could do so much nowadays with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just learned they're doing another one.
I was
How
gonna
many
say,
they have now? 6?
Mm.
No, they're at 6. This is going to be 7, and
Okay.
it's on an island where like a wealthy philanthropist. I can't. That was a horrible attempt to say that word.
Just say Mr. Burns type.
Yes, I'll sound smart one day. Mr. Burns type. You know, he brings the Graboids to the island, and you have Michael Gross. God bless that man for sticking with that series. He's still there. God dang you, Fred Ward. You're not doing anything. Why can't you come back to the series?
I think he's just kind of, that dude is just collecting, he's just signing checks at this point. It's like, yeah, okay.
You ever seen Reba Williams with him?
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic movie.
And that
Amazing
was
movie.
badass.
It's
Yeah,
like a 80s comedy action movie.
totally.
I love that movie. It wouldn't fly nowadays. We have a white guy dressed up as a Chinese stereotypical kung fu master type. It's like Breakfast at Tiffany's. You know, it's
It's
not gonna
not
fly
that
nowadays.
bad.
No,
It's a great movie though. Yeah, it was
no,
like
he's
part-
not that bad in that movie.
James Bond. You know?
Yeah, like the fight in the fight in the Statue of Liberty.
Mhm.
Plus, I mean, movie's got it's got great comedy. I love when he's like jumping on these poles trying to get to the second floor, and then he's turning around and the Chinese guy's like, "Okay, now come back down." He's like, "That's the easy part." And the guy turns off the lights. He's like, "Hey, I can't do that." He's like, "Use your mind." And then he turns off the lights and he's not moving. He's like, "I don't hear you moving."
It's a fantastic movie if you never get the chance to watch it. I
Totally.
think that's probably on YouTube somewhere.
Hmm.
Really fun, good family film.
Yeah, but
Speaking,
uh,
now that you mention it, speaking of Asian prosthetics, another good remake, if done right, could be Murder by Death, because that was a hilarious whodunit movie.
oh, that is,
Spoofing all the greatest detectives, and Inspector Clouseau's actor Peter Sellers played Sidney Wang, a spoof of Charlie Chan.
that's right. Yeah, I my brother has that movie. I saw a couple of minutes of it and it was really good from what I saw. But yeah, it's like those old house movies. Like a bunch of people are gathered to solve a murder at an isolated location. But it's every comedian actor there is playing a different character from like mystery fiction. So, but
Right.
yeah, it's. Oh, and what's his? Oh, goddamn it! What's his face? The man who wrote In Cold Blood is like one of the actors in it. I don't know, but anyways, I'll let you guys keep talking. I'll just let you know I replaced the noodle monster with one of the boogans on screen.
I don't understand its shell in that design. I don't. It's like a brain. Is it supposed to be a shell?
It could just be like I don't know. This is my first time seeing the monster. I'm used to the living noodle monster from another dimension, but I can't handle.
You never seen the movie?
No, I've never seen the boogans.
Oh, it's a great. That's on. I guarantee that's on YouTube. I
Okay.
promise you that's on YouTube.
No, let me find a link.
At
and I'll
least-
share it.
At least that thing doesn't look as phallic as that underground stop motion mine monster movie,
Oh
which
god.
I can't even remember the name of it.
I know what you're talking about, and it doesn't help that they gave that monster white saliva. I'll just leave it at that.
It's
Ugh.
its face is a giant phallic symbol.
Yes.
So, Raph, what would you remake?
Well, I've talked about this plenty of times with friends, but I don't laugh. But okay, between my two choices, well, three choices actually. I would like first off, I would like to make a semi-serious but still whimsical remake of Santa Claus Conquers the Martians.
Oh, I remembered that. That was spoofed on Mystery Science Theater.
Yes.
Reach for the stars. Reach for the stars.
Yeah, that one was, yeah.
Yeah. It's
It
like
could be a funny kind of Tim Burton-esque sort of movie.
well, yeah,
You know?
that's what I was thinking. Like, with a bunch of like Men in Black elements thrown in, where it's like it's like so much I could do with that movie, and it's I think some like my brother Gabe says it would only work if you add a little bit of rock opera elements into it. It's like, Gabe, you insane genius. Gabe's my brother, by the way, but I wouldn't mind remaking Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. I wouldn't mind doing my own take on one of like the old sword and sandal movies, like Hercules Against the Moonmen, or
You
This-
just read my mind.
yes, because I think I know there was a Hercules TV show with Kevin Sorbo, which was fun in its own right.
Oh yeah, it was campy. It was amazing, and it has Bruce Campbell as the King of Thieves. But this is my bias as a rogue.
Yeah. Oh well,
He was best boy.
yeah. Bruce Campbell he looked fantastic in that show, and his character was a lot of fun too. So, but I would like to properly remake, like do a slightly bigger budget version of the Hercules movies. Throw in some more monsters and stuff. Like first off, there's Hercules Against the Moonmen, which I think would make a fantastic remake.
Yeah.
There's also Hercules and the Princess of Troy, which was actually a failed television pilot for American television. It was basically Star Trek with Hercules and his friends traveling ancient Europe, fighting monsters and villains left and right. And it's actually pretty good for what it is. And at an hour long, it's not that bad. And then there was this one Sword and Sandal movie I recently discovered called unfortunately has the very generic title of My Son the Hero, which is okay. So when spaghetti westerns were starting to get a little more comical towards the end of their run,
Yeah.
yeah, and you had movies like My Name is Trinity or My Name is Nobody and all that. They did the same thing with the Sword and Sandal movies, but the only one they really got made towards the tail end was My Son the Hero. And it's a tale about I think his name is Derek, the smallest Titan, who's basically human size, who is given a chance to redeem him and his fellow Titan brothers to stop an evil king who thinks he's a literal god. And because it's a little more humorous, the character is way more likable. It's like he's a strong man, but he's nowhere near as powerful as some of the villains he faces in the movie. So he uses a lot of his wits and brains in it. And because he is sort of like this Titan in human form, he's bizarrely innocent too, which actually works for the character a lot too. I guess this is like a fairy tale giant being told, "Hey, you got to save this world." Of course, he never grows giant size, so this is very loose terminology when I say Titan. But it's like it's a very fun adventure movie, and it almost feels like a precursor to like the Kevin Sorbo Hercules movie. The mix of action and slapstick and offbeat characters, even in the form of the various villains. Like a villain who shows up in the first act ends up becoming the best friend / sidekick to our lead hero, and it's actually a pretty good movie. And there's like the full version of it is on YouTube. I know that for sure. And my third choice. Go on.
What's it called again?
My Son the Hero. I'll share the link in a little bit with everybody.
Okay.
Okay. And my third choice would be one of the more obscure Toho movies. Although the only one I could think of would be like a really bizarre. I would love to remake the H-Man. I don't know why. The idea of cops, robbers. I almost said robbers. Cops and robbers versus a hideous radioactive slime monsters is I think a good idea that could be really well made today. But those would
because they just stand still in the movie the whole time.
Oh yeah,
they never move.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't go crazy with CGI, but I would definitely make them more mobile and more of a threat. And plus, when you think about the H-Men are damn scary. They just need to touch you when you dissolve. So it's like I don't know. I think you can get away with the evil toothpaste men coming for you. Okay, so Mark, you want to go with the answer to your own question? Oh wait, did Earth Bear Gone? Did you mention any movies? You did. Boogans.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to
I
answer?
still need to see the Human Vapor in that.
Right. Oh god, the Human Vapor would make a great remake. That's because the Human Vapor. I'm a big fan of the American version of that movie because it's like a 1960s version of the Invisible Man from the 30s. It's told from the so-called monster's point of view, and the Human Vapor has such like okay. On paper, it sounds ridiculous, but in execution, it's actually quite good. He's a human being who's been mutated so he can turn into a living mist, a literal human vapor. And he can reform back into a human form when he wants to, and he's practically invincible in that regard. But yeah, it's a good movie. But anyways, I've talked enough. Mark, do you want to answer your own question of any oddball remake you'd like to make?
Okay. So I guess I'll choose a couple. So there was a movie called The Gate, which was actually really good, like about a kid that
second one sucks.
Yeah, and he does this ritual off of a freaking heavy metal record and accidentally opens a gateway to hell and shit and releases this Lovecraftian looking demon thing. That was actually pretty good, and the effects in it are they're good for the time, but they, it's all stop motion and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it looked really good for 1985 or whenever this came out, but I think that one could really stand with modern effects. That one would look really good.
I still laugh every time that the guys are in the full little imp demon suits and they're kind of jumping around like hyperactive children with candy.
Totally.
Yeah, it works really well though. The effect, it's like Bird Eye Gordon's Attack of the Puppet People, but nightmarish, more so than usual.
So that one's always, and I always like that, just the concept of that. That was a really good movie. And so there was another movie called God, what the hell was it called? It was a really bad ninja movie. It's called American Ninja. American Ninja. Which, I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it has this very long scene towards the beginning where this truckload of soldiers gets ambushed by a squad of ninjas, and so for 15 minutes there's just this long drawn out soldiers versus ninja battle. They're shooting each other and ninja stars and guys are fighting and all this crazy shit. And that one, I think, that one was kind of the epitome of the ninja movie, the 80s ninja movie.
Mm-hmm.
But the plot is really not that, ridiculous. It could be rewritten into something pretty awesome, I think.
They made 5 of those movies.
Oh yeah, there was Enter the Ninja, and then like.
Oh no,
Enter
there's
the
American
Turn
Ninja.
Ninja, and then Ninja 3: The Domination, where like that has a golf cart scene and shit. Like,
No, they literally made like 5 of those American Ninja movies. Like
oh, they did?
American Ninja 4, Blood Hunt.
Oh, nice.
And
See, I
they
didn't
all
know
have the
they
same
both-
actor.
American.
They all have the same actor. Did you ever
Oh,
watch
wow.
Step by Step?
Oh
Uh-huh.
no.
No,
I'm gonna
did
have
you ever
to track
watch?
this down, man. I didn't know that.
Yeah, on Step by Step, the surfer kind of, fun-loving, I guess he was a nephew or whatever.
Yeah.
That guy, that's the guy that's in all the American Ninja movies.
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
Same guy.
Yeah. I don't know the actor's name, but I know his character was called Cody. I think his name was.
Yeah, he's same guy. If you look at him nowadays, he's put on like maybe freaking 95 pounds of muscle on him. Looks nothing like he did back in the 80s.
Well, of course he's
But that's
fighting
why he always
ninjas
had those-
left and right.
That's why I always had those episodes where he's doing like ninja moves, like I'm gonna protect Dana from these bikers. They always had that in there.
It would explain the gain in muscle.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is
But now, in my opinion, he probably has to hide from Dana and her crazy MLM products.
Step by Step. That was like, it was like the Brady Bunch, but not good.
Yeah. Well, it was fun. I mean, you had that dinosaurs,
Family Matters.
Family Matters, and then
Mhm.
you would have like the fourth one, the revolving door, which
Hey, Perfect Strangers was a cinematic classic of television.
Perfect Strangers is great, but that was before that time.
Right. Oh yeah, that's right. That was like the tail, like when TGIF was starting. Perfect Strangers was on its last legs. So
They had like a genie show that lasted for a season. That fourth show was just whatever got that fourth time slot was screwed. No one was gonna stay with it for an extra half
Yeah.
hour. They were
Okay.
done after
yeah, there was.
Dinosaurus and everything else.
Yeah, I think Teen Angel was there too. So
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Disguises himself as a high school student on Earth, gets into wacky scenarios, talks with this higher up angel who's this kind of chubby black dude.
Maud,
Which I think
the
was-
distant cousin of God. I remember that joke.
Back when you could actually make diverse characters and not have either side of the argument lose their shit because it was more of a comedy gimmick.
Oh, you can't ever do that anymore. Twitter just blows up. Jesus Christ!
From
Every
both
freaking
sides of
time.
the argument, and it's kind of
Oh,
getting
yeah.
old.
Mm.
That guy,
Kinda. It's old. It's been old.
Yeah, I just wanna watch.
I was trying to
TV.
be nice.
I just want to watch a good show with a good story, and enough with all of the fucking special interest shit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, it doesn't bother me so much if it I would have given the Batwoman show, but the fact that it's like, hey, let's focus on this facet of her. I know it's from the character. I appreciate that from the character, but when you make that your go-to selling point and you
And
drive
only.
it home, yeah, I'm just like, I could care less because you're telling me what I need to think and not making me naturally feel it, It's
See-
not like when Ellen did her show, you cared about her the whole time, and then whatever she came out on the show, it was all big back and then, but it wasn't a big deal at the time. I mean, honest to God, it was like, I still care about the character because you didn't make that the focal point the whole damn time.
One show
Yeah.
that did it right was Static Shock.
I
They
never,
brought up bullying.
yeah,
They brought up bullying, bigotry, because Richie's dad was racist. They subtly hinted at Richie being gay, which was canon in the comic books.
Yeah,
that's kind of what they did with
Go ahead.
what is it? Well, I was gonna say that's kind of what they're doing right now on Jesus Christ, the Netflix show, the '80s thing. Oh my God, I'm going
Stranger
stupid.
Things?
Yeah, the kid that gets the one that gets possessed in the first season. There's like a throwaway line that last season. I can't help it if you have problem with girls. You know,
Yeah.
they're kind of alluding to him. You know, he doesn't have any interest in girls. He just wants to play games. He's, you know, they're alluding to it, but they're not making that a focal point.
The rain, it's drowning your doggy. I have to use magic powers to summon the rain away. Fine, do
Yeah,
whatever you
no.
want.
So my politics are generally
rain and
wrestling. You know what I mean? So these people, you know, and I understand what a lot of these people want, you know, because the whole idea is that when you see these things, when you see these tropes represented in media, then it normalizes it in society. So that's the perspective they're coming from, right? The problem is that when you sacrifice having a good show in order to push that representation, then it doesn't do anybody any favors, because if people don't watch the show, then you're not going to get your, you know, you're not going to get your message out anyway, right? So you brought up Batwoman, right?
Mhm.
Well, yeah, that's exactly the point. They kind of sacrificed good storytelling and good character development for representation, where it was like not necessarily. And here's the thing: is that you can have your character be represented on the screen, but it's the way that you show it that really matters, you know. And it comes off better when you show your character as a normal human being who just is also gay or something, rather than like painting them with that gay brush, you know. And there's actually a term for that trope where it's like they're like they're like the trophy token gay person on the show, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's like this, so that's kind of the problem. It's like, okay, well, like I know, and like one of the things that I saw recently, I guess there's like this thing in Marvel Comics with like two characters, like one's named Space.
Snowflake and Snake
Okay.
Safe Space.
Yeah, and they're a parody. So you see those two characters, right? It's an obvious parody. And you would think that, okay, the reason why that backfired so hard is because, first off, the people that are like, you know, the comic gate people who are like against all of that shit, the conservatives, you know, those guys, they're just gonna jump all over that instantly anyway and make fun of it, you know. But the people that they were trying to appeal to felt like they were being God damn it, what's that word? You know, like a commoditized or whatever. I can't pronounce that word. You know what I'm talking about?
Pandered.
Yeah.
Yeah, pandered to. They felt
Pandered's
like
a much easier word to say.
you're taking their sexuality and you're turning it into a commodity that they're going to sell back to you. And that's why a lot of the actual social justice people saw that and were pissed at that too. It's like, what the fuck, dude? This is not, my identity is not like a fucking, you know, it's not like me going to, you know, buying a burrito or in a, you know, through a drive-through, you know what I mean? It's not something you can buy and sell. So they felt insulted by that. So it's like this is one of those rare cases where they managed to piss off everybody, you know? Like,
Yeah.
and that's kind of what it is. And the thing is, you see other examples of like, you know, LGBT characters that are handled better. You know, like a good example I would say is in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. You have Willow, you know, comes out as gay after, but it wasn't immediate. It wasn't like, okay, hey, I'm gay, wow, and then like they dress her up in gay stuff and she's always like, that wasn't her entire character. It was like over the course of several seasons, this character like evolves to that, because that's what happens to real people in real life. You know, they go through a process of discovery, right? And they realize things about themselves, and that's exactly what happened in the show. And so when it happens, it actually feels a lot more real, and people who watch it will accept it a lot more. And so you don't see like a lot of like, you know, nobody makes fun of that character, you know what I mean? Nobody like says that character was written bad or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
And two other examples that I can think of are Midnighter and Apollo in the comic book world, because Vertigo, actually, the cousin company to DC, actually does write some damn decent characters.
Was
And
that
another-
the Authority?
The fact that Yeah, I believe if memory serves, yeah, they even had comics of their wedding, and it was cute. It was well developed in terms of their relationship. And the other example would be John Constantine, because he is unabashedly bisexual. He always has
Yeah.
been.
Yeah, I mean, there's some other Marvel characters, like I think one of them was Scarlet Witch's son. I can't remember his name.
Wicca.
Wicca, yeah, like Wicca is like in a same-sex relationship and stuff like that, and those seem to be handled a little bit better. Like it's not like they don't pander. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and
And
another
it's
one.
like, yeah, you just make these two characters like dressed up in obvious, like, like just even the way they were designed was to like basically, commoditize like this entire thing. Yeah, and I could really see why people resist to that. So
Another good
Couldn't get the
example.
mute button fast enough.
Another good example are two members of the Outsiders. There was one of Black Lightning's daughters. I can't remember if it was Thunder or Lightning, but she was with an Amazon that was part of the Outsiders named Grace Choi, and their relationship was developed and handled quite nicely.
She's in the show. She's gay, which is
Yeah, and
great.
in the-
'Cause at least it
and
gives
in-
her
yeah, in the
identifying
comics too.
quality.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, in the comics, their relationship budded quite nicely. It didn't feel forced. It didn't really feel pushed.
I think a good character I've seen done is Sarah Lance on Legends of Tomorrow, because they've
Oh,
always
I
said like she's bisexual, and now she's kind of become the token Captain Kirk character where she bangs famous women in history. Whatever. other than that, they've given her a stable relationship that
Oh,
feels good.
I,
Yeah, she's turned into the Captain Kirk character now.
I hate to say it. Well, first off, if you no dog, we don't want to hear your controversial opinions about Safe Space and whatever his name was. Okay. Okay. First off, I've watched enough of the original Star Trek to know Captain Kirk. Yeah, he smooshed with a lot of ladies, but he wasn't like, the man whore that people believed him to be. It wasn't that bad. It was bad, but it wasn't that bad.
I think the better.
there
think
was
the-
like a couple of episodes where it was like canon that they actually had sex. Like
I know.
there's
but
like a couple where even they're getting dressed afterwards and stuff. So yeah, Captain Kirk definitely got around.
Yeah, but not as badly as a lot of spoofs or people assume him to do. It's like
No, he's no Zap Brannigan, for God's sake, Jesus.
to be,
Speaking of Zap Brannigan, look who joined us.
yeah.
Did somebody say man whore?
was
Funny
gonna
how I
say-
appear like a genie from a lamp.
All right,
I
let-
was gonna say a better reference probably would have been Captain Jack Harkness, because he's always been openly pansexual.
yeah.
Right.
In other words, he'll fuck anything with a pulse.
That's the guy from Doctor Who, right?
Right.
Yeah, and Torchwood.
The face of Bo. Yeah, okay.
Although it was weird that episode where he tried to hump a Dalek, but let's not talk about that.
My sonic screwdriver.
Someone help me! I need an adult.
I actually
I
haven't
haven't-
seen Doctor Who since it left Netflix, and then
Oh.
it was on Amazon Prime for a bit, and it left that, and now I haven't watched it since then because it's on
I
this
think
PC
it's
thing.
back on Amazon still, because it's in my watch queue still.
Okay. Amazon Prime.
Yeah,
Okay. No dog. Amazon Prime is different from Hulu.
It's better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't even seen any of like with the female Doctor. I haven't seen any of those yet, so
No, we'll
Can't
get to
make
that in a moment.
can't make an opinion on those.
Yeah, but I just want to make the point about so first off, Captain Kirk wasn't as much of a man whore as people thought he was. Brayson, shut up. Secondly,
Spock.
Bones. Sulu, no. So, anyways, but secondly, yeah, that's the problem with when you try to write characters that are openly, bisexual and stuff. It's hard to tell if you're, dog. I'm trying to make a point. No, I don't want to hear your Republican ideal. Shut up.
This is just gonna swerve back into you talking about transgender frog girls again, isn't it,
No,
Raph?
well, shut up. Well, okay, it's like you can.
Andres and I are having a real LGBT heart-to-heart conversation, and you bring up the transsexual frog girls. Ah.
No, okay. Thanks for
Oh,
embarrassing my show.
Macabre Comics actually brings up a good point. Isaac from Castlevania is a good example of good representation.
Oh yeah.
He's
Just
he-
didn't
I don't
care
think
for
it's-
how that. Ugh.
Oh, is he even supposed to? I didn't know that.
I know he is, but I'm kind of more. I'm more referring to the end scene where he gets screwed over by the. Oh, I guess you call them twins. I don't know if you do or not, but
Oh.
I'm just like, wow, they really just turned on his ass, didn't they?
Yeah. But no, the point I was going to make is, yeah, it's hard to do representation well because either you're pandering or you got it just right, or worse, you're obviously the writer is a sicko. And I should know,
Yeah.
knowing anime and comic books so well, it's like, oh, my character's progressive. She's a bisexual sex warrior. It's like, that's not-
With a heart of gold.
exactly.
See, here's
And-
the thing, right? So it's hard. Right, now, first off,
Damn you,
it's
Brick.
hard for me to identify because I'm a cisgendered, male and shit. So,
Mhm.
You can only kind of write what you know, right? So if all you have is in your writing team are straight, people, and not even any women in there, then it just sort of becomes a bunch of like stereotypes and shit like that. And so there is some merit to the idea that okay, we should diversify some of our, some of those guys, get some other voices in there, get some other opinions in there, because it is
Mhm.
true that people basically base their opinions on shit that they see on TV. That's definitely true, and it is also true that things become normalized, right, from what we see in the media. So, for example, in the '90s, right, there would I don't know, if you think back, you would never imagine, say in 1990. You would never imagine that one day gay people would be allowed to be married in this country. That was just something that was so far out that you would never even consider that being a possibility, right? Now, over the next 20 years, gay people in media became, because back in the 90s, it was the only gay characters you got were funny sidekicks or villains. You were either a villain
Uncle
who was
Arthur.
yeah, or you were the funny sidekick dude that cracked jokes.
Mhm.
And then over the course of the next 20 years, you actually got in representation in media of oh, these are actual normal, Will and Grace, actually normal gay people who are normal and they're not pedophiles and they're not,
Uncle Arthur.
or whatever. And lo and behold, 20 years later, it's now that idea is acceptable and people actually go out and vote for it. So that is definitely, that point is actually valid. And then when they say that, okay, this behavior normalizes it,
Okay.
but at the same time, it's things that has to be something that has to happen almost naturally.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So
Well, it's,
you can't like you were saying there, James, you can't force people to think a certain way. You know what I mean? You can't
I'm just gonna fight back every time.
yeah, and you can't be
People will
it
just
has to
fight
be
back to
something
that.
society has to evolve, and so that's one thing that media can do, is media can kind of point us in those directions. Another example of this is marijuana legalization. That was another thing in the 90s. There was no fucking way that everybody ever thought that it would even happen. And then 20 years of everybody screaming for it, and rap music videos of guys smoking weed, and stuff like Kevin Smith making movies where the lead guy is a stoner and it's he's a normal person, stuff like that. It just kind of seeped into the culture, and then now it's one state after another, legal. So I'm not really sure where I'm going with this, but you get the idea.
just admit, like everyone else, you love marijuana.
Hell yeah! I have these muffins right now. God, if you want some wrap, my mom's friend actually grows it, so I have so much. This is legal in California, so I can say this. I have in my fridge right now, more than I will ever smoke in my entire life. So if you want some, just like let me know.
Don't say it. Don't say it in public where it's recorded.
This is legal, man. Nobody can arrest me here.
I'll hit you up.
It could change any moment now. If you excuse me, I gotta take my medication. Hold on.
No, but this is like the golden era right here, man. Kids today, they don't know how good they got it.
It is more sad that you can get more pot than you can find toilet paper in a store right now.
Okay.
Holy shit, that is an awesome point. I am
Wait.
going to totally steal that. I hope you don't mind.
Yep.
Brayton,
I mean, it's true. It's just it's really sad.
Yeah. So, Mike, I want to put a quick aside about this whole representation thing. It is wonderful that we're at a point where we're going to have shows like Steven Universe or She-Ra where there is that representation, but it's just natural. It just happens to be there, and it's not really made or a big deal out of. It's like there was no way in hell a show like Steven Universe could have existed less than 5 years ago. Now nobody bats an eye because of it. Even with Rebecca Sugar saying, "Oh no, they're not women; they're genderless, hologramic jewel creatures."
Which I will say is a very clever way to bypass the Karens in the censorship industry.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, so it didn't stop Russia though.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah,
but that is really good.
But Russia's always had to stick up its ass since the dawn of time.
Yeah, does that explain why Russia technically doesn't exist in the Steven Universe world? This is a big old hole in the ocean. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I wonder what's that about. But anyways.
He took that on purpose.
Yeah. But Brayton, how do you feel about representation? You know, you
Why? Because I'm a stoner or a genderless jewel woman? Is that why you're coming to me finally?
Well, you do look like Period a little bit now that I think about it.
Oh, I don't know how to take that.
Okay.
I imagine that
You could
they're
call
pretty.
him a quad.
Oh.
I've got nice quads. I'm a runner.
Right. Anyway, it's just how do you feel about it? Like, or don't put you on the spot and move on.
No, if there's one thing I love, it's a bunch of straight guys talking about how weird those wacky gay characters are. But
Would you
but
want
no,
us to talk about transsexual frog monsters?
oh
instead?
yes,
Okay.
something real and tangible, Raph, like frog women with hearts of gold.
Right, who turned into frogmen in episode 43.
That smoke pot brownies.
Yeah.
In California.
Anyways, go on.
How do I feel? Okay, I don't know. My biggest thing is just gay people aren't aliens. Your main objection or your main objective should be writing a character. You know, if it shouldn't be, oh well, I gotta come up with wacky personalities because those gays are so quirky. You write a character who fucking happens to be gay. That shouldn't be their defining character trait. And this goes for pretty much any minority, I would imagine. Don't define them by something that trivial. And yeah, I'm just a little fed up in media with that outlook of, oh, if the whole Will and Grace thing and all of that nonsense really irks me. And I'm glad that media's taken a lot of stride. I like I haven't seen Steven Universe. Is that a
Good
It's
show.
the best show ever, dude. Seriously.
okay? I will take your word for it.
It ended recently, but it ended on a good note.
Okay.
Right.
It has a lot of like anime influence in it. Like some of it's kind of blatant. Like they do the fusion dance from like Dragon Ball and shit.
There's a reference to
don't know what- I don't-
Girl
I don't
Lieutenant
know-
in season 1.
I don't know what any of this is, but Raph, is this
Oh,
good?
No, I like Steven Universe quite a bit. There's a lot of episodes that don't feel needed, but because it's a very slice of life type show. But some of those
Okay.
episodes can be very enjoyable, especially when the fantasy elements come in, and then the episodes actually evolves the main story. Basically, Steven Universe is a story about a young boy named Steven Universe who's half human, half a gem being an alien species of gem people. And his who lives with his father, a former rocker, and his 3 mothers/sisters who are the Crystal Gems, who are sort of a superhero group of gems. And it's a show that's it's funny. It's not like most Cartoon Network shows that's too heavy on the humor, because it's a good mix between the humor, the drama, actual character pathos and adventure elements too, especially when they go into space in the later seasons. So, and of course, there's musical numbers that pop up every once in a while. It's really good music too. It's like "Independent Together" is like one of my new favorite songs from the Steven Universe movie.
Yeah.
So,
And then, well, Estelle does one of the voices, so
I
yeah.
still
like,
love
real-
"Stronger Than You" as my favorite.
yeah.
Oh God.
So you have like a real actual pop star
And I'm
who's like,
stronger than you.
music for it.
Oh, yeah.
No, Andre says I might not like it because every conflict ends with a hug, and yeah, I'm gonna fucking hate the show.
That's not.
Oh yeah,
No.
yeah.
Well,
There's
not always. There's a one that does take like a couple of episodes
Mhm.
for Pearl and Garnet to kind of forgive each other in one of the later seasons, because Garnet gets super pissed at Pearl. I won't go into details as to why, because I don't want to spoil the show for you.
Yeah.
yeah.
But it takes a couple of episodes, so there is that moment where a fight will happen, and it will take a little bit for those particular two to cool down. And I think there was one point where Connie was pissed at Steven for a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I just love how this final image of the noodle monster, he seems accepting of what we're talking about.
But
He's
it
kind of
definitely
adorable in a
does have
derpy way.
Yeah.
It does definitely like have that kind of, we can all be, make up and be friends kind of resolution to most of the problems.
Yeah. Oh,
It relies also very heavily on the kind of my enemy becomes my friend after I defeat him trope. You know what I mean?
But it
Like
does
that's why
kinda
like I
get-
compared it to Dragon Ball Z, because it's kind of like that. Goku beats up Vegeta and then Vegeta joins him. Like that
Mhm.
same kind of thing happens like 5 times in Steven Universe.
yeah.
It does kind of get a little darker as the seasons go, though.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in the final season.
You mean this
Because you
the
kind
future?
of see things unfold by then.
Okay. Are you talking about Steven Universe Future or the season that actually was the last season?
Future was technically the last season, because it was more or less to describe the time skip. Because there was
Okay.
there was a 2-year time skip for the final season.
Yeah, but no, I think, I like Steven Universe quite a bit, and thank goodness we're at a point where the show is canceled, so we can actually stream the episodes and watch them in a timely manner, as opposed to when they were airing, where you had to wait a whole year just for like a handful of episodes.
Oh yeah,
Well,
it'd be like
not
4 of them a
not,
year.
not exactly canceled, just completely ended.
You're right. It did finally end on its own term. Although I'm glad, I'm not going to spoil anything, but I'm glad that a lot of people are complaining about how open-ended it was, but it was open-ended enough that if we want to revisit these characters in the world, I say do it. And I do agree, though, that I enjoyed the gems both as heroes, villains, and anti-hero, and somewhere in between. But at the same time, it would have been nice to have like a wide variety of like different villains, and maybe that's something we could explore in the future, because I hate to say it, you can't solve every problem with a hug, and although that works,
Must every conflict end with a hug? Can it end with like a knowing nod or a non-physical contact wave, something
Well,
where they don't have to hug each other?
that-
I hate hugs.
that
I hate hugs.
Show,
I hate
right?
when people hugs.
Like-
I hate hugs of all forms.
are you
Of
the
all
12th
types.
Doctor, Brayton?
Like
You
that's
know
the thing
this,
about the
Raph.
show, though, right? Is that so many times when I'm watching this show, I'm just like, how come he just doesn't kill her? You know what I mean? Like I think that like when he's like fighting, like there's a woman, there's one called Jasper, and then like, and I'm like, how just kill her? And then I'm sitting there with my wife, and my wife's like, they can't kill him. It's a kid show, and and I'm like, and that's the thing, is that in any other show, that's how it would end. The hero would destroy the bad guy. And it would just be like, you leave me no choice, bang, and they would kill the bad guy. And in Steven Universe, that's not really how it, works out. And it's kind of written like better, I think. I mean, it does rely on that trope a lot, though, but
Yeah.
it's actually written really well. So,
One thing that made me respect the show so much, aside from the writing and the beautiful animation, is the fact that when there were moments where the fan base would get overzealous, the fandom would get overzealous to the point where they would get flat out toxic. Unlike Ian Flynn, who encouraged it with the Sonic fan base, fuck you, Ian Flynn, Rebecca Sugar actually went, hey, not cool. I'm welcoming to any form of fan art, and and you guys shouldn't be doing this. Be kind to one another, not cut it out. She
Oh,
actually
wait,
called
so-
out the toxicity.
Are you referring to the fan art of Rose Quartz where she was like
Not
too skinny?
chubby. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
and she immediately called those toxic fans out. She went, hey,
Yep.
look, I'm not saying you're terrible people, but what you did is not cool. Don't do it again.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Ugh.
Let's be kind to one another. That's the point of the show.
Right. Well, I was gonna.
Let's all hug.
No. I was gonna say though, I am happy that that children's shows or just kind of family-friendly fantasy entertainment in general is getting to the point where we're kind of recognizing the point that, well, yes, there's the extreme that we have to end every conflict with a hug, but then there's also the equally unappealing extreme that kill every enemy ever. That's one of the reasons I think I kind of fell out of love with Power Rangers recently. Especially with the Neo Saban kind of just like, every alien from outer space that doesn't look human is
Stab
evil.
him with a lightning sword.
Too much death.
Yeah, but with that said, I'm glad that there are a lot of shows on television now, especially in children's entertainment, where we are coming to a nice middle ground of characters either having to not being sympathetic towards the villains, but understanding that just the outright killing method is not the best way to go. But yeah, I do feel that maybe Steven Universe at times does go a little too far in the hug department, but it doesn't feel. But at the same time, it feels earned because there are a lot of really good relationships born between Steven and some of the former villains, especially the adorable little sister relationship he gets with Periot, who's she's my favorite character out of the whole thing. The green one.
She's an adorable little Dorito.
I know. It's. I'd like to think we would be best friends because we're both weirdos.
And I like Doritos.
Wait a minute. What does that mean?
Well, Wynn called her an adorable Dorito.
Yeah.
I like the
Her hair's
Dorito.
triangular like a Dorito, so the non-toxic fans call her the small Dorito because she's teeny and her hair makes her head look
that
like a
makes
Dorito.
so much sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I like this show because it's a good example. It's a good example of how looks can be deceiving, right?
Mhm.
So it's got this sort of the style. It's that CalArt style that a lot of people don't like,
Mhm.
and a lot of people I think would discount it just on the way it looks. It's like, well, no, this is a good. It's all about the writing. It's not about how your art style is or what the show. You know what I mean? Like that. So it's kind of a really good example of how you can have a show with great writing and depth and have that sort of stylistic, it's independent of your stylistic choices.
And not only that, but I'm happy to admit that Steven Universe at least ended on a high note as opposed to like My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. Now there was
That ended on a downer? All the pony get shot?
no. Well,
So that's finally over with, right?
Yeah. If it ended earlier this year, it ended last year. Dog, no, I don't want to hear about your feelings about Mask and other Transformer Hasbro properties.
Well, that was a great show, though.
Yeah,
I mean, come on, man. That show was a phenomenon.
Yeah, but if like, what is it? If I had my choice between intelligent writing and decent characters and an awareness of the continuity, I can't believe I'm saying this. I would go with Steven Universe over My Little Pony. Who's laughing? Because you deserve to laugh.
Well, you kind of introduced me to that show, My Little Pony, so...
Oh, damn it.
It wasn't too bad, but the quality of the writing did kind of go downhill after Lauren Faust left.
Yeah, she was so cool in the first couple of seasons, and then she left, and the show got a little more formulaic. What is wrong with you, dog?
I'm surprised it lasted as long as it did, to be honest. I mean, there's only so far you can go with that concept.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually, that's why they split it off into like Equestria Girls and all this stuff, because it's like...
Well, let's not talk about Equestria Girls, please.
But I mean, they told basically the same story over and over for 7 years straight, so it's like...
Well, it also sold a lot of merch, so that's why it was able to kind of bypass the 3-season curse that a lot of unfortunately good shows suffer from.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what 9 seasons? Wow, and a movie and tons of spin-offs.
And it still has Equestria Girls. And
Look,
soon
I
there
said
will
don't
probably
mention
be
it.
I was gonna say there'll probably be a Gen 5 soon, but if those leaked pictures I've seen in the past are what it may be, I'd be more than willing to give it a shot if need be, because that style did kind of look freaking amazing.
Oh,
And if they except I would feel that it would probably need a little bit of a slightly darker approach to kind of balance everything out. Still have the lighthearted, but mix in a bit of dark elements here and there. Just kind of spice it up.
Mm.
yeah. So, and meanwhile, Power Rangers is in its own rut, and let it die.
Well, to be fair, Hasbro picked it up, and from what a friend of mine told me, Beast Morphers is actually pretty decent.
Well, I haven't seen a single episode of Beast Morphers, believe it or not.
I think it's on Netflix.
Oh, we'll see. I was spoiled with oh god, was it Koyu Rager, Dinosaur Samba Sentai, however you call it. I was spoiled with that series because that was everything I wanted out of Power Rangers. Like, extremely well written characters, a lot of like dynamic relationships going on, some actual drama, and it's a silly series about people who dance to transform, who pilot dinosaurs fighting Lovecraftian fruit monsters. It's
So you remember, God, what was that South Park where they made fun of Family Guy, and they say just manatees write Family Guy? Do you ever see that episode?
yeah,
You know,
yeah, they
where they
go
just
in.
go, oh, the
yeah.
manatees won't pick the balls. Like, they just go and they pick random balls of words. You know,
And that's
Prophet
how.
Muhammad the salami hat or something.
Right.
Like, what you just said sounded just like manatees picking up. You know, what was that like? Fruit Lovecraftian monsters and shit. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, well, the monsters in Koyu Rager, blah blah blah. I'm so glad Andres isn't here to no, it said this. The Japanese version of Dino Charge. Yeah, the Deboth is the main villains, and they're a race of basically psychic vampires who are plant-based. But because they're aliens who live off different emotions, they assume forms based on emotions or memories. So if there's if you love sports equipment and a monster of Deboth of Joy is sent against you, it becomes a sports equipment monster. But it makes sense in its own horrible way.
Yes.
but anyways, but the great thing about the Deboths was they were actual characters. They were all given personalities, and not only that, but unlike most Super Sentai monsters, and another testament to how good the show was, they made a lot of them made a lot of recurring appearances. So they weren't just monsters of the week. They had like at least 2 or more episodes to them. And it was great. And of course, at the end, there were so many villains who decided to join the good guys' side because their boss was an asshole. So that happens.
So that was actually something I wanted to ask you about, right? Because it seems like, okay, each of these series has like, what, 52 episodes or something?
Roughly
and they got
50
a
episodes.
monster suit for every episode. Like, doesn't that, like, do they reuse them? Do they, like... Because I hear every once in a while, like, I'll be reading the Godzilla wiki or whatever, Kaiju wiki, and it's like, this suit was remade, was reused in this series and stuff like that. It's like, it seems like kind of a big waste to just, like, make a suit and just use it once, Yeah,
well, first off, the sad thing about Super Sentai is nobody cares about the villains. Like, other than the main group of villains, like, the fans don't care, and the kids don't care. They just want to see the robots beat people up. So yeah,
That's a beat.
So yeah, this is a fact that was made very true when Power Rangers made it big here in America. It turned out the Monster of the Week toys weren't selling, and Japan realized it was the same problem happening in Japan. So that's why whenever there's new toys, it's pretty much the heroes and maybe 1 or 2 villains. But
yeah, there'd be like 1 villain monster toy.
Yeah. But
right.
no. The thing is, first off, nobody really cares about the monsters. And either the monster suits get shipped to America to be used in Power Rangers, although there's been kind of a cutoff point because Power Rangers was on hiatus for such a long time, Although now that they're in New Zealand, from what I understand, they have a whole warehouse filled with monster suits. Because a lot of the monster suits that came to America was destroyed. But what they do in Japan is they often do recycle the suits to create new monsters within the same series. And the thing with Dinosaur Samba Sentai, I'm not going to say its name, Q Ranger, something like that. I don't know. It's funny. The show was doing terrible in the ratings, but the toys were doing good. So I think that was one of the reasons. And plus, they had a really good head writer on the show. So that was one of the reasons they reused monsters a lot and had them come back from the dead to make multiple appearances. And plus, they're Lovecraftian fruits, so you could bring them back easy. But
so I know a lot of these get made into like vinyl toys, but kids in Japan don't buy those, right? Those are like adult collectors, right?
Yeah, probably the adult collectors. Like, what is it? The Ultraman monsters are more iconic than any of the villains from Super Sentai. That's why Ultraman monsters are constantly coming back, are constantly getting new toy editions all the time. Like, how many times can Gubira, the narwhal monster with a drill nose, constantly be coming back? Although yeah,
more times than I would care for.
Yeah,
King Joe's another one that shows up in every Ultraman.
Yeah, well, I like King Joe. I love King Joe. King Joe's awesome. He has like the most simplest name in the universe. So, unfortunately, I don't have any Ultraman images. I guess I got this obscure Captain Dagger versus Megaloman thing on the screen right now. But yeah, no, often they recycle a lot of the costumes, especially if the series is really unpopular. Like, what is it? The Lupin Ranger versus Paddle Ranger, which was about high-tech police officers versus high-tech thieves versus interdimensional criminal monsters. Apparently the
Sorry,
the Manatee wrote it.
Anyway, Manatees again.
Right. Meanwhile, James, Brayton, and Wynn, their brains are slowly melting out of their ears. I'm sorry.
Well, I know all this. I didn't know anything about when you guys were talking about Steven Universe and My Little Pony. I didn't know anything. That's why I was quiet as heck.
Right. But anyways, yeah, and Lupin Ranger versus Paddle Ranger, because the monsters in that were so heavily recycled to make so many different costumes within the same series, that there's talk that series is never going to get brought into America because there's basically no surviving villain suits whatsoever. So I might stand corrected, because when Beast Morphers is based on Go Busters, and there was like a 5 to 6 year gap between the two series. And yet every monster suit is in perfect condition and survived these 5 years. And that's saying a lot, because, foam rubber monster suits don't last long. Remember when we went to Power Morphicon and we saw just all my old friends from childhood just hung up and like decaying and rotting. So
like falling apart.
Yeah, exactly. It's like there's little foam inside the rubber monsters. Oh my goodness. But yeah, no, they often recycle the monster suits constantly, and that's why some monsters never make it to America, because the suit was recycled. Do you guys remember King Sphinx from the first season of Power Rangers?
No, I don't. Sorry.
Okay.
He looks just like Goldar, except he's not wearing gold plates.
Yeah, he's like anyways, King Sphinx was he was one of the very first monsters to get a toy in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. He was supposed to be a big deal. He was supposed to actually appear in multiple episodes, because they like King Sphinx quite a bit. Unfortunately, when they found out that the costume for King Sphinx was already destroyed, gutted, and turned into different other monsters, it's like, damn it. So King Sphinx only got one episode, and one episode alone. So, and that kind of ended up happening with every other monster throughout. That's why so many, that's why Rita and Zed never returned after Power Rangers Zeo. The costumes were just so...
Except for Slippy Shark. He kept coming back.
And Eye Guy. Apparently, Eye Guy can never die. So I think Eye Guy his last appearance was one of the denizens of hell in Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue. Manatees are writing this show. So, anyways, let's change the subject. We've been talking about Steven Universe monsters stuff too much.
You can never talk about monsters too much. Bite your tongue.
I don't know. So, Brayton, do you have anything non-kaiju related to share? Okay.
I think he checked out during your Eye Guy part.
Oh, no. Okay, yeah, there's just the four of us. So, Wynn, Any wacky stuff happen in the world of entertainment? You know?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
kind of, I've kind of been distracted on and off, so I haven't really watched anything new.
Okay.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. So, what is it?
Hell, I still need to sit down and watch Castlevania season 3, but
Oh, you
I've
didn't watch
mostly,
it?
yeah,
Oh,
because
I thought you did when you mentioned Alucard because like his sexuality comes into a big play on that, but
Oh,
it
you mean
just kind of
Isaac?
gets.
Because I
I
figured it was kind of hinted in season 2.
Well, no, I mean I don't want to spoil anything. No,
Hey,
how season 3 ends is everyone's having sex except for the main characters
To
who are just
Netflix!
slaughtering a
Woo!
bunch of- who are just
Sorry.
I know.
Sorry.
Everyone's having sex except for the main characters, which are having the most badass fights ever. Yes, it's.
Yeah, I did
I
see
hate what they did
previews.
to Alucard's character. They
I
just
did-
made him into this moody, very lonely, and partially going senile character.
Does Grant Dynasty show up in this?
I don't never played the games. I know there's a
Oh.
time traveler from the games that's in this. He's the I don't even know what his character's called.
Saint
or-
Germain. He's he's based on a real life alchemist, and he's actually a character from the game too. And he's voiced by Bill Nighy, and he does a great job. I think Saint Germain was my favorite character out of season 3. But let's not go too much in spoilers.
No, the reason I ask is because Grant Dynasty is the third playable character in Castlevania 3, so, Sypha and Alucard, were both from there, so, Season 1 was kind of adapted from Castlevania 3. They fight the Cyclops and all that stuff that's, right out of the game.
Yeah, it was one of the more
Yeah.
popular of the earlier Castlevania games.
I will admit though,
It's Grant, because, Grant was, the best character, dude. You could, crawl on the ceiling.
I will admit all the new characters though, the sisters, the vampires, they're not really sisters, but they call themselves sisters.
Mm-hmm.
Friggin' fantastic, especially the redheaded one. I can't think of her name right now.
Yeah, everyone
But
loves
she-
the redheaded one. Oh.
No, I mean she's amazing because she's gonna f over everybody at the end of the series. She's gonna be, hi, it was me all along.
That's, Camilla, right? I think. Was that the redheaded woman? I think her name's Camilla, right?
No,
Camilla's-
Camilla's the long blonde hair one. The
Okay.
bitch, really. I don't like her. The
Hey, watch your language, you motherfucker. I'm sorry.
No.
Yeah.
All right.
the
keep going.
I don't know any of their names. You have Camilla. You have
No, dog. No.
Jesus, that dog. I can't think of anybody's name. Just think of the redheaded one, and you have the commander in chief, and she's in a relationship with the tactician one. And I liked them, but they're not nearly as fleshed out as the sweet little lovable redheaded one, who is going to turn out to be the most evil out of everyone.
Well, to be fair, as deceptive and as mean spirited as that was at the end of the season, I find it amazing that everyone thinks that oh god, the people the one guy that she screwed over, literally and figuratively.
He deserves it. He wanted to enslave everybody anyway. He was
but
he was murdering dogs and cats and having fun resurrecting them. I don't care what happened to him.
Okay, but here's the thing. Everyone who's reviewed this third season says that he got it worst as far as all the characters. Are you kidding me? There are people really need to oh my, what's the
Alucard got it the worst.
Yeah.
His entire side story was pointless.
Yeah.
There was no rule. There was no point to it. I think one of the best ones was the other Forge Master. His talk between him and the boat